On today's Primetime Local News, a new playground and splash park is coming to a Lloydminster community. And what's in store for a local tennis club this summer. Plus, Northern Factory Workwear celebrates a big milestone.
Primetime Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening, I'm Jace Mackey. Thank you for joining us on this Friday. Alberta is now loosening some of its restrictions as the number of wildfires drop.
Moving into a restriction is a middle ground where people can still have a bit of freedom to enjoy a campfire in a campground or within their own property.
There are now 51 active wildfires in the province, about half of what it was when a state of emergency was declared more than 2 weeks ago. As of today, a fire ban in the forest protection area will be downgraded to an advisory. Taking a look at local news now, the Aurora neighborhood here in Lloydminster is going to be getting a new splash park and playground. The new park was brought to council last week, in which they were very supportive of the new structure, with the area lacking a park to begin with.
This is a development being brought forward by the developer, namely the land division of the city, to enhance that neighborhood. I know there was a promise of a park, I understand, some time ago, so that we'll have a combined park and splash pad, which will be terrific for all residents of the city.
Now, this park and splash pad are not only to fill in the gaps throughout that neighborhood, but also to ensure both sides of the border are treated equally.
Yeah, so it's nice to see a new playground splash pad development happening on the east side of the city. As the Saskatchewan councillor on council, I'm always trying to say, hey, what about me over here and the people that live on the Saskatchewan side? This will be the first of its kind on the Saskatchewan side in a newer developed area. That'll be over off 40th Avenue, about 31st Street.
Construction is anticipated to start this summer, with it looking to be finished by the end of the year. The city is putting over $500,000 toward the project. I'm excited to see how that looks when it's done. Definitely, the city could use as much amenities like that as we can get here in the border city. Now, moving on to other news, a Lloydminster store is celebrating 30 years in business today. The first 30 customers through the doors of Northern Factory Workwear received a gift bag to celebrate the store's big day. Store owners Pam and Neil were surprised today as the event was organized by their daughter and store manager Tara Lynn.
Busy with life and things just happen and you don't think about it, and then all of a sudden 30 years have gone by and it's like, wow, that just happened. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Now, the pair credit Lloydminster's upgrader with helping bring in business in their early years, and thanks the community for their support.
Big thing too is to have a good community to support you for all these years, and that's probably the biggest. We really lucky to have Lloydminster and area for a great community to support local business.
Thank you for being there for us and supporting us in our businesses and shopping local. That's it's big. It's I know it's an easy drive to go to Edmonton or somewhere else to go shopping at a bigger center, but you know, if you look around, we have a lot of inventory and a lot of different things that everybody can use to go to work.
Northern Factory Workwear is open until 9 tonight, until 6 on Saturday, and 5 on Sunday. The Lloydminster Lions Club are honoring a member of the Lloydminster Bobcats, naming Javen Leslie as Junior Citizen of the Year. Leslie was surprised with the honor on Tuesday night. The hockey player was nominated by Lloydminster Region Health Foundation CEO Stephanie Monroe. The Lloydminster native was recognized for his work raising awareness and funds for youth mental health. Now, last year, Leslie organized the Buzz the Bobcats event, raising almost $35,000. Leslie hopes his work has helped reduce the stigma surrounding mental health. Now, local doctor Raf Saeed was given the Lions Club's highest honor for his decades of volunteer work in the community as well on Tuesday night, and Lions Secretary Kathy Smithson received the Marvin Chambers Fellowship. And congratulations to everyone who was recognized this week. There's an opportunity this weekend for people to help raise money for a good cause. Stacey Comer has more details on the Walk to End MS.
Meredith Bongers is back with us again. Meredith from MS Canada. And today we have a different subject to speak about. We're going to be talking about the MS Walk that's coming up this weekend. Meredith, thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you for having me, Stacey. A pleasure to be here.
Well, this is an exciting weekend for the MS Canada because of the fact that there are different ways to participate in the MS Walk. A lot of people have been involved in this for many, many years. But tell me about the ways that people can participate.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. So, yes, this is a very big weekend for us. And the MS Walk really is a community driven fundraising event for people with MS and for those that want to help create a world free from MS. So, we have 45 in person walks across the country happening on Sunday, May 28th. For those in Alberta, our walks are in Edmonton, Lethbridge, St. Paul, and Calgary. And for those that can't get to those areas, we also have an Alberta virtual Jamin Built Walk, which allows people to go online at mswalks.ca and to register and to start their fundraising. And that really does give them the flexibility to walk wherever they want, whether it's in their neighborhood or their backyards or just around the block. There's a way for people to participate and support those living with MS.
And for the virtual walk, is there a set amount of distance they have to go? Or say if somebody can, just manage to go around the block a couple of times, does that count as well?
It counts. No matter how you participate, the fundraising really moves us closer to a world free from MS. So whatever your mobility and comfortability is, we encourage you just to get outside, get together, celebrate, get some fresh air and a little exercise and support the MS community.
And so the money that's raised from this weekend, is it earmarked for something specific or does it go into just the general fund?
It goes into our general fund across the country where we invest in research as well as services. So those living with MS can access our peer-to-peer support programs, our one-on-one support, our education awareness programs, and our quality of life program, as well as access the Knowledge Network.
It's such a busy time for fundraisers. And I know we talked about the pancake breakfast and obviously the walk this weekend, but how important are these fundraisers to MS Canada?
They're critical. Really, they are. I mean, we couldn't do what we do without the funds that we raise. And so every effort, every dollar helps us bring us one step closer to a world free from MS.
And we spoke last time, we talked a little bit about the programs that people can access. If there are people in the Lloydminster area or the St. Paul area that are living with MS and maybe, are just new to having some symptoms and diagnosis and such, how do they reach out to get more information and find out how you can help them out?
Great question, Stacey. And it really is like there's 90,000 Canadians living with MS. We have some of the highest rates in the world here in Canada, with 12 people diagnosed a day. So certainly we have resources in place to help those when they need them most. And we encourage everyone to visit mscanada.ca, and you can connect directly with our MS navigators who will help you every step of the way through disease progression to navigating the website to helping you find local resources.
Meredith, it's always a pleasure to chat with you. And once again, for those wanting to get involved in the walk, and again, you don't have to be shy about this. If you can't go 10 miles, you don't have to go. You can just do whatever you want. Where do people go to get the information on the walk?
mswalks.ca.
All right. Well, thank you, Meredith, for joining us, and good luck this weekend. I'm sure it'll be a big success.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the support.
Hopefully all those MS walks go well over the weekend. I, for one, have taken part in many MS walks, especially growing up, in honor of my grandma. Let's check in now with Shelby Clark for a look at your weekend weather forecast.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jace Mackey. Yes, now taking a first look at your weather forecast here in the border city for our TGIF. As we head into the weekend, hopefully everybody had a great week. We are just sitting at 19 degrees right now, so just under that 20-degree mark. We've been kind of seeing these temperatures throughout the week. Each day we have been just seeing between 17 to 19 degrees, so we haven't been seeing too much of any scorchers throughout the week, I would say. We are looking at another day of mixture of some sun and clouds, so it's nice to see that we are starting to see the sky more, have a little bit more sunshine, of course, after having some very poor air quality conditions from all the smoke from the wildfires. So I think it's very nice that it's starting to clear up right now, and we are back to normal as we are still seeing those spring temperatures moving slowly into summer. Switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, most spots are looking slightly warmer compared to what we are sitting at here in the border city, as they are just hitting that 20-degree mark in most of these spots. And then for the rest, we are just hitting that 21. So we're seeing that in Vermilion, Vegreville, and over in Edmonton. We have a couple up top with Cold Lake and Lac La Biche. So we are probably seeing the nicest temperatures yet for today compared to the rest of this week on our Alberta side. Now going over to our Saskatchewan side, they are almost matching with us on our Alberta side. They actually are looking slightly cooler, but just by 1-2 degree mark range. We are just hitting 20 there in Pierceland, and the rest are now just sitting at 19 degrees. So they are matching with us here in the border city, and going a bit lower to North Battleford, they are seeing 18. So they are seeing the coolest compared to the rest. And for tonight, they will be expecting those double digits once again for their evening low temperatures. So that low of that 10-degree mark is what they will be expecting for their Friday night as they head into their Saturday. They will be expecting more of a cloudier evening, not too crazy chances of precipitation, unfortunately, so it will be a pretty calm and clear evening. And then for their Saturday, daytime high of 24, so warming up for sure from what they are just sitting at right now. So seeing that 24 for their daytime high and a mixture of some sun and clouds. So a beautiful Saturday expected for North Battleford indeed. Now looking over in Cold Lake, they will be expecting that single digit for their evening low temperature, so that low of 7. So they will be cooling down by quite a bit for tonight. They won't be seeing any double digits for tonight, so they will be cooling down, probably seeing the coolest temperature for their evening compared to all the other evenings they've had for this week. And then for their Saturday, 25. So switching it up, they will be almost getting closer to that 30-degree mark for their daytime high and a mixture of some sun and cloud for their Saturday. So Cold Lake is expecting kind of almost a scorcher tomorrow. For us here in the border city, we will be expecting that single digit, that low of 9 for us tonight, but we won't be seeing a high chance of some precipitation. It will be a clear and calm evening tonight. Unfortunately, hopefully we will be seeing that for our Saturday, but we will be looking at that 24 for a daytime high. We were expecting around a 40 to 50% chance of precipitation earlier on in the week, but it seems that we will be seeing more of a clear day and a mixture of some sun and clouds, so at least we will be expecting a beautiful Saturday indeed. And ending off the look at one of your weather photo submissions, thank you to everyone once again for submitting throughout the week. Appreciate it. This is a gorgeous shot from Craig Binnell. Thank you for all these beautiful photos you got. Love to see that moon in the sky. You got some good shots through those smoky air quality conditions, so really appreciate that. And that's all I have for now. For a first look, your weather forecast.
Thanks as always, Shelby. Craig's really been the MVP for us this week, showing us those hazy skies. After the break, we'll have a look at the day's business news. Time for us to take a turn to the sports world now. The Lloydminster Tennis Association has something for athletes of all skill levels. Here's our Thomas Wildman with more.
Today we have Warren Aganato and Naomi Schmidt of the Lloydminster Tennis Club here today. They are two of the coaches with the club, and they're here today to tell us a little bit about the tennis club and what they do throughout the summer and spring months. And so thank you both so much for being with me today.
Oh, thanks for having us.
All right, so let's start. Warren, tell me a little bit about the tennis club and kind of some of the administrative stuff of how many members you have and kind of the day-to-day things that the club does throughout the year.
Yeah, so our club typically consists of anywhere from 60 to 100 members. Just with, the previous few years with COVID and everything, numbers have kind of fluctuated, been a little down, but this year we're up at about 60 to 70 members, and, we conduct lessons, provide lessons to the club members. We hold tennis events, just like social gatherings to hit. I also do a lot of other kind of training on the side for some of the more competitive students, such as Naomi. We'll go compete around Edmonton, Saskatoon if we can, and we also have our own competitions here.
Awesome. And Warren, you were telling me before that you were also kind of the pro of the club. Tell me how your tennis journey and kind of how you became a well-known good player and also just a coach as well.
I've played it quite a bit. So I have a certification as a Club Pro 1. I started when I was 6, kind of grew up playing with my dad, with parents, got a lot of training. I trained in Toronto, where I was born and raised, played a lot in Ontario. I had the opportunity to go across the world for a few tournaments just as invitation, but nothing on like pro circuit, nothing huge on that level. But I have enough experience that I just want to share it with the club here.
Awesome. And Naomi, tell me a little bit about your tennis journey and some of the coaching that you're doing right now with the club.
Yeah, so I started my tennis journey through the Lloydminster Tennis Association, and I started up with the lowest level, kept on aging up through it. Now I'm got through coaching with Warren, and now I'm helping with coaching as well on the side, and just wanting to share and bring more people into the sport and just keep it going.
And so you were talking about some of those events that you guys were running. How important is it to try and, get those events out? And the point, and also for newer tennis players, kind of what's the entry level for some of these events? Because of course a tournament would be kind of scary, especially if you hadn't played tennis much before.
Yeah, so typically when it comes to tournaments, ideally you'd want some playing experience before you just jump into one, because it could be very daunting. And on top of that, even for people coming in from out of town, they're expecting some level of competition. We do have different tiers of play, not necessarily completely beginner, but still you have lower tier, mid tier, and your higher tier of players. I do recommend getting some kind of coaching, just because it's one of those sports that's highly involved with the finesse, and it's very easy to succumb to bad habits in the sport. So I do highly recommend getting somebody experienced to kind of show you the ropes as well as show you the rules. So once you're used to the rules, some of the basic etiquette, and some of the good habits of hitting the ball, that's usually a good time to just jump into a tournament and actually have some fun. It's really daunting as somebody who just picked up the racket for the first time and tried to play. It's a rough time, but it's doable.
And then for both of you with the tennis club, tell me a little bit about, you guys of course host tournaments, but how many tournaments are you guys and some of your members going to, and what work it gets to get into that competitive level, and just kind of the tennis scene in Alberta and Canada as a whole?
Sure, yeah. So for the club specifically in Lloydminster, we'll typically hold about 4 tournaments every year. The one in June is usually just kind of a entry tournament just for within the club. And then we hold one in July, August, and September, where we welcome anyone from anywhere in the provinces, Alberta, Saskatchewan. We've had people come in from Winnipeg once, maybe a friend from Ontario come in once. But yeah, those levels of tournaments, it's literally any level of play can come through Lloyd. In terms of prepping for them, again, just some experience on the court, just some play time on the court, getting used to the rules and etiquette, that's usually helpful. For Naomi, I think you've played every tournament in Lloydminster for the most part.
Yeah.
And then just with that, is there any big tournaments outside of Lloyd, going out into Saskatchewan or into Alberta kind of?
Yeah, there's some fairly sizable tournaments. You go to Edmonton, they have what's called the Alberta Open every year, and I think prize pool there is about anywhere from 10K to 15K depending on sponsors and kind of the size of the pool or the size of the brackets in the year. I know in Saskatchewan, they typically have what's called the ITF Challengers for the women's. Not to say that anyone can just join that one, because there is a qualifiers process for that, and that's part of the pro circuit. But otherwise, we typically travel around Saskatchewan and Alberta for provincial level tournaments.
Awesome. And then for both of you, if there are players who want, of any age I assume, that want to get involved with the tennis club, where can they get more information and possibly sign up?
I guess a good place to start would be just come out to the club. If you see myself or you see Naomi there, a good place to start is just come borrow rackets. We don't rent them out. If we're there and the doors are open, feel free to ask for rackets and balls. Otherwise, we have our website, www.lloyd-tennis.ca, or our Instagram account, I believe, is Lloyd Tennis as well.
And so the courts are at Bud Miller Park, correct?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, perfect. So there you guys go. If you are interested in joining the Lloydminster Tennis Club, be sure to go out to Bud Miller Park and check them out on their website. We will also hopefully be able to come out and check out some of your guys' tournaments that you will be holding throughout the summer. So thank you so much for being with us today. We'll have more tennis coverage coming up soon.
Oh, thank you.
And now it's time for us to check in with Shelby Clark for a look at your weather forecast.
Thanks so much again there, Mr. Jace Mackey. Yes, now taking an extended look at your weather forecast. We have warmed up in most of these areas from what we have been seeing throughout the week, as we are getting well past that 20-degree mark now. Most spots are just sitting around 20 to 21 degrees on our Alberta side. We have most now just sitting at 22 with Edmonton, Whitecourt, and Edson. And then Jasper is looking the warmest now with 24 degrees. Cold Lake is also just sitting at that 22. So for the most part on our Alberta side, we are all just a few degrees past that 20-degree mark. So we have warmed up from what we have been seeing for the past few days, and seeing some sunnier days now. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side, they are looking slightly cooler compared to our Alberta side, as most spots are just sitting at those teens now. So for the most part, they are matching with us in the border city, most at that 19-degree mark with Meadow Lake, North Battleford, and Saskatoon. And then we have over in Prince Albert and Melfort looking slightly cooler, just at 18 in Prince Albert, and Melfort is the coolest at 15. Now as we go over to our northern zone, they have warmed up slightly, kind of matching with us with what we are seeing in our central zone. We are just seeing that 10-degree mark in some of these spots with Wilson Lake and Flin Flon. So they are looking slightly cooler than what they have been seeing for the past few days. 13 in South End, while we start to warm up from there. Up in Uranium City and Stony Rapids at 19 degrees. And then we have La Loche and Buffalo Narrows both just past that 20-degree mark at 21. And going back over to Alberta side here, they have warmed up like what we are seeing in our central zone on our Alberta side. They are seeing well past that 20-degree mark now. Most spots are just sitting at 22, 23 degrees on this side. And then we have some that are looking slightly warmer with 24 in Grand Prairie, and high level is even at 25. So it's nice to see that we're kind of switching it back up. We were seeing those teen temperatures for the most in most of these areas as we look through our central and our northern zone. But we now are starting to get back into those mid-20s, and as we move slowly in the summer season, hopefully we will be warming up from there. Going over to our southern zone now, they are looking slightly cooler from what they have been seeing for the past few days, and usually they have been seeing the warmest conditions yet compared to our central and our northern zone. Now our southern zone is actually matching with us more in our central area. We even have 18 over in Banff, so they have drastically cooled down from what they have been seeing throughout the week. Then we have that 20-degree mark in Lethbridge now, while most are just sitting at 21, and Medicine Hat seems to be looking at the warmest condition there with 22 degrees. And going over to our Saskatchewan side here, they have cooled down as well, as most spots were even getting closer to that 30-degree mark from what we have been seeing throughout the week on this side. Now they are back to those teens. Estevan seems to be seeing the warmest condition with 24 degrees. Kinnersley is just at 20, and the rest are looking at those mid-teens, ranging from between 15 to 17, 18 degrees in most of these spots. But now as you look at some overnight evening lows on this list in our surrounding area as we head into our weekend, we will be cooling down quite a bit. We won't be expecting too many spots with those double digits for their evening low temperatures for tonight. Most will be expecting that low of 9 and 8 for tonight with Bonnyville, Provost, Isla Crosse, and Paradise Hill. And then Meadow Lake is expecting that low of 7. So we will be cooling down slightly more than what we have been seeing for our evenings throughout the week, although we won't be seeing a high chance of some precipitation. It is nice to have, these sunny days, some beautiful temperatures, but we still need that precipitation to help with these dry conditions. I do know that none of us want any more of these wildfires and this smoky conditions to definitely stop. So hopefully we will be getting some wet conditions later on as we move more into the summer season. And looking at our hourly forecast for our Saturday here in the border city right off in our weekend, we will be warming up just in time for our Saturday. Daytime high expected with around 24, 25 degrees as we go through our midday afternoon. So we should expect a beautiful Saturday, because that will even continue into our Sunday as we even hit 27, almost hitting that 30-degree mark. So we do have some scorchers ahead for our weekend as we head into next week, because we will be seeing those conditions continue on starting off next week, and hopefully getting that precipitation and rainfall next Thursday and Friday.
As we head to break, we'll take a look at today's stock market prices, and later in the show, Abby and Shelby talk entertainment.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
I'm very happy to be joined here yet again with Kevin McDonald and Andrew McDonald, and no relation, but we are talking about the Saskatoon Soaps Improv show that is coming to the Vic Juba on June 15th, and Kevin McDonald is a guest star for the show. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and can you tell me a little bit about what the audience members can expect when they come out and see this improv show?
What can people expect, Abby? Well, it could be the very best show we've ever done in our lives. We could literally raise the rafters. The fact that we have such a murderer's row of comedic talent, I think that is very likely to happen. A lot of us have been doing improv for many decades here, so this is a really great opportunity to showcase what it is that Saskatoon Soaps do, but really getting to showcase our friend Kevin McDonald. That's the secret sauce here.
You could go the other way, right? Like even the Beatles had like bad nights, and their songs were written. They didn't improvise their songs, and they were good songs. Like even the Beatles had bad nights. So you go either way. But an improv isn't both ways interesting.
Yes, indeed, it is.
I'd be like that till someone agreed with me. Yeah.
Yes. What makes good improv, I guess, would be kind of a simple but hardish question, is what does make good improv and what brings people to the audience?
Andrew McDonald, ladies and gentlemen, Andrew McDonald.
I think that it is that intangible something that's in the room where everybody just kind of is part of this never to be replicated comedic moment. There's this, that feedback from the audience, that relationship with the audience. What makes it special is the fact that this is never going to be seen again. And this is one of those, you had to be there in order to be able to be part of that moment. So it's like a priceless feedback from the audience, or a moment where, two actors say the same thing at the same time, or you really are all kind of contributing together, the audience and the performers, to build this thing together. And it's never going to happen again. It can't, really be replicated, even, watching it online or on TV. It really, you have to be there. And that's what makes improv so special. Nice. And again, for the improvisers, we're not repeating, oh, this worked last night, therefore we're going to do it again tonight. You've got to be there in the moment. Yeah. So it really is. It's like Kevin's a guitar player. It really is like hitting a. There we go. Oh, beautiful. It really is like hitting that note on a string that creates, like, with just the right amount of pressure, where you hit those. I'm totally blanking on the word. Not an octave, but a harmonic, where you are just the right amount of pressure, just the right place on the fretboard, where all these different forces are working together to create just the perfect sound.
Nice. And I would say a good moment in an improv is always more electric and more exciting than a good moment in a sketch. Because the audience knows, and they give you allowance for a little bit that you are making it up. They don't mind silence for a bit, though every audience will turn on you if it's silence for like a long. Maybe not. Actually, in improv, they turn on you way quieter. Is quieter a word than they do like in stand-up per se? They can really turn on. I once was doing stand-up where someone yelled, "For Christ's sake, tell us a joke!"
Tough crowd.
They are kinder in improv. They are kinder, and then they're waiting for that electric moment, that the thing that you say that seems scripted but they know isn't. Because it makes so much sense and it's funny all at the same time. Yeah. I'm going to say the word electric again. It could be very electric at its best, and very acoustic at its worst.
So for the show that's coming up on June 15th, where can people find tickets and all the information that they need to know for the show? Like what time it starts, when the doors open, everything about that.
All the relevant info, vicjubatheater.ca, but I can tell you that there's a bar there, and the doors are going to open to that bar at 6:30, and then the show starts at 7:30. So be sure to be there. Have a drink and maybe get a snack, and then the show goes live. This is part of the Dr. H.A. McDonald, no relation, season that is happening at the Big Juba. So we're very much looking forward to being there. We've never played Lloydminster before, so this is a great chance for us to get to meet Lloydminster and have some fun and really, I mean, after a long work week, we're going to be a Thursday night. This will set you up nicely for a Friday. You can cruise into Friday after a night out in the town on Thursday. So looking forward to it, June 15th.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining me again. It was just as funny as the last interview that we did. So
thanks,
I have
Abby.
no doubt.
Are you going to talk to us every month, even when the show's over?
I would, yes, for sure. But thank you guys so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Abby.
Whether you're searching for a great book to read this summer, maybe you need a new coffee pot, or maybe you're just looking to discover some treasures, make sure you check out the Spring Garage Sale coming up tomorrow at the Service Sports Center. There's going to be a number of different people there with different items for you to take a look at. It is free to attend. They just ask that you bring your own shopping bag. You just never know what treasures you're going to find. It's tomorrow starting at 8:30 at the Service Sports Center. Coming up this Sunday afternoon, Legacy DIY is hosting a maker fair. What a great opportunity to shop local and support local artisans and local businesses as well. Not only will there be different local businesses on hand, there's also going to be different family activities. Border Paws Animal Shelter is going to be here with some furry friends. Plus, there's going to be live entertainment throughout the afternoon, and that includes a performance from Brianna Gammon. There's so much going on this Sunday afternoon right here in downtown Lloydminster by Legacy DIY. And Residents in Recovery is getting set for their annual fundraising golf tournament. It's coming up on June 22nd, and there's still time for you to get registered for a fun day out on the golf course while supporting a very important cause. Residentsinrecovery.com for all the details. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
Thank you to everybody for joining us today for this week's entertainment panel. It is the best panel of the week, and we are here TGIF. So thank you everybody for joining us. We got Abby St. John, and of course me.
Yes, of course. Can't do it without you. Can't do it without me.
Yeah.
Can't do it without both of us.
Yeah.
We're
Everybody
both
loves
on
to
here.
see us.
Yeah, it has to be us. It has to be us. To get all your entertainment news, come to us.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully everybody is excited, and we got two kind of, I feel like, definitely different topics. I feel like that we're gonna be talking about for today. So first one, starting off, another movie in the franchise, Transformers.
Yeah.
And I think I'm a little bit shocked to see that it's still continuing, but I feel like it still has, a little bit of spark, a little bit of excitement for people that are excited to see another one come out with whatever the storyline is continuing. So this one seems like it's interesting, Rise of the Beasts, and let's take a look at this final trailer that dropped this week.
Unicron is coming. And we have the power to fight what's coming. This is about the fate of all living things.
Yeah, this movie is the 7th Transformer movie, and I think it's similar to Fast and Furious. You know, it has that nostalgia, it has a certain fan base, and it's just fun to watch, I think. I think you can't really take it too seriously because it is a bunch of mechanical cars coming to life and whatnot and fighting each other. But this cast is pretty good. You have Pete Davidson, Michelle Yeoh, which I'm super pumped about. I love her, and I could immediately hear her voice in the trailer.
Yeah.
Ron Perlman, who, if you're a Sons of Anarchy fan, you will know him as Clay. Peter Dinklage, for all you Game of Thrones fans. Cristo Fernandez and Anthony Ramos. And if you don't know who Anthony Ramos is, he is a Broadway star. He was in Hamilton, and then he starred in The Heights as well. But basically, what I gathered from this trailer is that the Transformers, they go to war with a bad guy named Omicron, and it threatens to destroy the world. There's a line in the trailer that he eats worlds. So it's going to be an interesting fight. There's animatronics, which I thought was
cool,
interesting.
actually.
I thought that was really cool. And they kind of team up with the car version of the Transformers. So there's different types. It's like two teams coming together to defeat this big bad thing.
I think I appreciate seeing that they're kind of switching things up. Like they're like, oh, even though we haven't had the best reaction from our past movies when it started to kind of, I don't know, miss the mark a bit. But now with this one, it seems like they got a nice stacked cast. They're kind of mixing things up. And yeah, they're trying to do animals now. And I'm like, okay, I appreciate that they're trying to do a new idea and like, okay, let's do something new and interesting. So those fans out there can have something good. And I think this one will definitely catch some people's interest and maybe want to check this one out, especially from seeing those good reactions to it. So, but we got another trailer for another project, and this is what I mean when it switches things up for these topics, one range to another. We got Barbie, and it looks fantastic. So let's get a little bit into that, but it sounds like it's going to be just amazing. I love that we got more information through this trailer, and I think it's got some great reaction. Lots of people are excited, so let's take a look.
Hey Barbie, can I come to your house tonight?
Sure. I don't have anything big planned, just a giant blowout party with all the Barbies and planned choreography and a bespoke song. You should stop by.
So cool.
Barbie, she starts to experience kind of human-like traits. The first one is she asks about death to the other Barbies, and they're all stunned, like, what is this girl talking about? We don't die. And then the final straw, I think, is when her heels touch the ground, so she has flat feet. And that really starts freaking people out, and especially her. So she visits Kate McKinnon's Barbie. She's the one that looks like she was drawn on and misused by a child, and then Ken joins for the trip, I guess. And it's cool because they kind of show them driving down the highway, and it goes to different types of Barbies. You have the camping Barbie and, the snow Barbie, and she's experiencing what the real world is like, and it's, it's not like Barbie Land, it's real. And so she discovers creepy men, but then she also starts learning about real feelings and the understanding what the real world is really like, and it's completely different. And of course, Will Ferrell's character, he is the Mattel's CEO, and he discovers that she has gotten out, and so he's freaking out. But of course, so in funny. Will Ferrell fashion, he's hilarious, and so she has to escape him. Honestly, just by this trailer, it kind of exceeds my expectations. Yeah, I'm very excited for this movie. Even more excited than I was before, and I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, and the whole soundtrack was released, which is always exciting. A lot of people are really amped up to hear what kind of different songs will be on it, like you were saying, Dua Lipa. And then even at the end of the trailer, there was almost like a remix of actual, like, the Barbie song. So I think a lot of people were really like, oh my god, what was that?
Yes, I'm pretty sure Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj did a different version of Barbie World. So that's really interesting. That's really cool. All these, really that's iconic really female singers are coming, and we only have to wait a couple more months.
Yep, it's going to be absolutely fantastic, so make sure to go check it out. I think it's going to be a good one. But that's all the time we have for this week's entertainment panel. So once again to everybody, thank you so much for joining us today, and have a great weekend.
And that's our show for this Friday night. Thank you all so much for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here again on Monday.